Well, hey guys, it's are we really back?
We are really back.
Yeah, you're back.
You're not going to cut me off anymore.
It happened so abruptly.
Dang it. Well, hey, it's the PDQ patchwork put together. I'm just kidding. We're doing this live from our different studios, I guess. Is that a way to put it?
That's one way to put it.
One way to put it. The wrong way?
Is unfinished basement still count as a studio?
Yeah.
I love the dungeon effect, though, Jordan. That's beautiful.
We've got homes in different area codes.
There we go. Well, it's Q&A, guys. So throw down your questions, and Jordan and I will fumble through them as best as possible. Yeah.
All right. Are you guys ready?
Oh, no. But I never am, so let's just hit it anyways.
Well, let's jump in. Here we go. Hey, guys, is there a better way to move packages into folders without dragging or cutting and pasting, which breaks links? Sincerely, John P.
Now, John, I'm assuming, and Jordan, jump in at any time, we're talking about moving files that are in your repository that are being referenced by your packages. So the simple answer to that there is no. As soon as you move them, you are going to have to go relink them to the new location. Jordan, have you found any easy ways to do that?
No, not really, because the repository is pretty static. I guess you could have like a variable that has kind of like a repository that you put in the variable into the path there, and it would update those links for you.
Well, isn't that we do have the repository variable, and that's that right there, isn't it?
But I'm saying
a variable in there.
Yeah, just a separate variable that is also a UNC path that you could replace that with a repository variable. I don't know. I've never fiddled with that. But that's still, you're going to have to make some changes there, but at least it would be, if you're moving between two locations and those are both static, you would have those two available.
Yeah, I can't off the top of my head think of an easy way. There's ways to make it different, but not easy. So let's move on to the next question, because that was a horrible, sad answer for that.
Way to start it out, guys. Way to go. Gentlemen, I would like to export a list of users from AD, staff on one list and faculty on list 2, and import them into PDQ against the username. Is it possible without having the computer name in the CSV? I want to import the CSV into PDQ where staff would have a check mark in their respective column. Sincerely, Thomas the Tank Engine.
So the import CLI is going to require the computer name for that to work. So that it's going to be have to be part of the CSV. I don't know if there's a way that you could run the query from AD in such a way to grab both the user and the computer so they're tied together. But it is definitely going to be necessary. I think it might be possible to get both of those depending on how they link.
Yeah, the import wizard does run. If you notice right here, it does run everything against. Well, I guess let's see if we got a CSV file I can grab on the desktop. No, let's see, Secret of Life, Autobot Assembly. There we go. So if you notice when you pull these, it does require the computer name field. So, that is the link to get that data in there. I guess you could do some. I hate to say this, you could probably do some SQL insertions. And I'm making this face because if you do it wrong, you're going to have a bad day with your database. So if you're going to try that, definitely back your database up first. But yeah, I would go with Jordan's, try and get the computer name in there too. So anyway, staff, true or false is how you get your checkbox. So should we do the next question?
All right, here we go. Could you please go over files and directories reports? John P.
All right, so first, for a files and directories report, you need to have a file scanner of some type. So surprise, surprise, thanks for sending this in early. We built a files and directory scanner, and this happens to pull all the EXEs in System32 folder in the system root. Already ran that. So now if you go and look at, we'll say Bugs Bunny, just because it happens to be highlighted, files and directories, there we go. It's been populated. So you do have to run that scanner. I ran that before this. And now building reports on this is pretty simple. So let's do a new report. We'll do a basic report. We'll call this report, I don't know, arp.exe, because I happen to find that one and I can spell it. At this point, you're going to go add some new fields in here, and you're going to go look for files and directories. So let's go get the name and a few other things. So we'll get the name of the file, the path. We'll get the product name. Product name? That seems interesting. We'll do the product version, and that'll be good enough at this point. Now, for your filters, again, if you're looking for something specific, in this case, we're looking for arp.exe. You're going to go again to files and directories where the name contains arp.exe. I guess you could do equals. And then we'll run that against all computers. And we should see, there we go, files, paths, different versions. I guess we can group by this and see all the different versions of that ARP we've got. There we go. So there's a report. Looks like the majority have 10.19 something 1. But again, you need to get that data in first by running a scan, and then your reports are just go find the files and directories table and go to town. Jordan, thoughts?
No, when it comes to talk about reports, I just sit back and be quiet because you know your stuff, so it makes it easy for me.
Only if I can spell. So, anyway, that's one way to do it. But again, go after those files first. So, all right.
Okay, here we go. Dear Lex and Jordan, we are using Fog to image our computers and snapping with PowerShell to install the application from PDQ Deploy. Using the command line, can we prioritize deployment so any snapping queue in PDQ Deploy will be installed next? Sincerely, Daniel C.
Hey, Daniel. There is no way to prioritize from the command line. Jordan, you seen anything like that? I know I haven't, unless that's been added recently. I think all priority has to be done from actual deployments here. I just want to check to see how many deployments I get.
I can't think of a way to do it with command line just because it's not always a full deployment that's doing it. Sometimes it's machines with specific machines within it that you're looking to do it. There's a lot of variables that I don't think we could really account for with the command line for that one. So if it's in there, I'm going to go check over the chat because if it's in there, Kobe will tell us.
Yeah. I will show you how to prioritize though. If I, instead of hit cancel, I hit OK. So we'll just go grab everything and we'll say Chrome old, which is a ton of machines there, 25. Okay, it'll only deploy 8 at a time, and this super dir test package does have a pause in it. Now you'll notice status-wise we've got these queued and we got some running, so let's get all the running ones there. Let's scroll up and say I want Daffy Duck to be next. Right-click, prioritize this target, and that bad boy goes to the top of the queue at this point. So that's how you would prioritize it. And there's Daffy right there. So
it makes me think, and I wouldn't know how to go about this, and especially where it's always updating, it'd be difficult. Like if you did a SQL query against it, you could find one that just queues and change the status to prioritized. But with how often that's changing, that seems like something you wouldn't want to mess with necessarily, especially on a running deployment.
that'd be kind of rough to keep track of. But yeah, okay, so the other thing is I just went to help and opened a command prompt, an administrative command prompt. These are all the commands you can do from the command line. So there is nothing about prioritization right there. So anywho, just thought that I'd show you how to get the things that you can do.
That was a long no.
That was well, that was a no, but you can still right click and okay, that was a no.
No, but also no.
And I'd like to follow that up with a no. Niet.
A resounding no.
Resounding. What other language can we do? Niet.
Are we
Nine.
Are we trying to fill time here? Do we not have enough questions? What's going on?
We got
Just like to
plenty.
add context and why the answer's not going to change.
Yeah, good point.
All right, on that happy note, gentlemen, can I search all deployments by host name to see what has been done to a certain computer? John P.
So, John, if you're thinking of doing it in deploy, I would say don't. Go to inventory. And it's really quite simple. Let's open Bugs Bunny. We'll go to deployments. And there's everything that's been done to Bugs Bunny from deploy. Easiest place to find that. I mean, I guess you could filter and do some, grouping in.
You could build a report on it, I guess, if you want to fine tune. You're looking for something specific.
Well, if you're looking on a specific machine, it doesn't get any more specific than that, I don't think.
Well, just if you're only interested in failed.
I guess you could.
Like
that is a good point. Good point. All right.
Yeah,
How was that, JJ? We're not filling time with
yes.
There you go.
Lovely, Lex. Lovely.
We are on fire. Hey, Lex and Jordan, last Q&A, I asked whether you have documentation regarding using PDQ Deploy at the end of a CI/CD pipeline. Did you have any chance to look into this? Thanks, MBK.
So what you're going to need to do if you want to kick something off after, let's say, I think you clarified, you wanted once certain processes run, you want to be able to have some Autodesk automatically deploy, right? So this is the CLI. Basically, again, go to the help here again, and then open elevated command prompt. You can run PDQ Deploy. And if you hit enter on that, it's going to come back and tell you what you need to do at this point, right? So we need to put in a package, right? So dash package. And man, I need to have deploy up so that I can see what package I am going to do. Because if you've seen any webcast we've ever done, typing is obviously one of my super skills. So 7-zip space 19. Updated. Okay, and then your targets. Tag it, yep, target.
So close. So
Yep,
close.
I
You
might
have to go
do
back.
now, man.
It was like
let me-
right
let me-
there.
Let me center that now that I've typed. Did I type 7-zip 19? Okay. See,
I really like that I don't have to type. That's my favorite part of this one so far.
I hate you, Jordan. All right, let's see if I typed that correct, because 7-zip 19 update not found. Apparently, I put too many spaces in there. Updated with a D. All right, so spelling does matter here, guys. All right, there we go. So now it's deploying to Bugs Bunny. So you can kick off, obviously, a command line to that. Not a whole lot of documentation, but at this point, if you come in here and run these, you can, get some information in regards to that.
So a way to make it so you don't have to have the exact version is if you do a nested package where you just have a static title, then as you update those packages, the nested will still run everything.
So be efficient. Just call it 7-zip.
Yeah, it removes the need to track down the latest version on how they've updated.
That's a good point. So take what I said and just up your game a little bit, huh?
Zazz it up.
Zazz it up.
All right, you ready for the next?
If I wasn't,
Jordan-
would it
Jordan
matter?
Sounds like maybe not.
Jordan's pouring another. It's
I don't
one
gotta
of those
drive
mornings.
anywhere.
You can't leave the dungeon. Come on.
He's expecting to be stumped.
All right. Well, let's get to the next one. Is there a way to edit? What is that? HK user?
Current user.
With the current user. Thank you.
user,
Without the user being logged on, I have to make a reg change to 30 plus users on the same machine. Thanks again, admin. All of the admins out there.
Wait. Go ahead and take that one, Jordan.
All right. Yeah. So with current user, that's going to be whoever's logged in. If you're looking for all users, there is the HK users hive that you can do. You have to have a registry key that follows a pattern for the SID for a user that goes in there, and then you can go through and search for loaded hives and unloaded hives. There is a lot to it, and messing with the HK users comes with some risk. It's not all bad, but I mean, you can do it. If you want to see an example of it in progress, download the uninstall Windows Firefox per user and look at that PowerShell script. At the top part of that, Chris wrote that, and that goes into how to load the users hive and filter out so you have all of the actual users, and then you could do your changes from there.
That's how you do it. You know what I'd do? I'd make a regex, put it in the user login script.
And pour another one.
And I'm not going to call out Marcel for putting that in the chat. because I want credit for that. But thanks, Marcel.
Oh yeah, I just realized we're not doing points today.
Well, I was just thinking point
No.
to Marcel.
There's
Marcel
going to be
gets all the
one
points.
one point on the board.
Also, group policy.
Yeah, group policy is another good one. Yeah.
If we're looking to do it with our products, that is how you could do it, and it's super complex and not without risk.
Yeah.
All right. Next. Sure, why not? Gentlemen, is there a guide to using PDQ Deploy without using the GUI? If not, can you make me one if I ask politely? Pretty please? Dougie K.
So, Doug, I'm going to show you how I learned this. I typed in, I went and opened the elevated command prompt and started down this path. I don't know. I don't think we've got any. Do you know of any documentation that breaks this down, Jordan?
I'm not sure exactly. So the first part is going to be making your deploy so it has everything you need and it's updating without your input. So all of that you're probably going to have to do from the GUI. There's just a lot of complexities that the CLI can't handle. Once you have deploy where it's doing everything and all you're worried about is running reports and schedules, that's probably something we could write about. By we, I think I can write that.
That would be.
Jordan
If any of you have looked at the blog lately, it's Jordan, and then we've got another author, Brock. But you seldom see Lex using his wonderful typing fingers on the blog.
Every blog, everything I've ever written has had to go and be rewritten for grammar and for spelling. So they just said, knock it off.
Oh, that's all of us. There's a team that makes my stuff look almost readable.
That's true.
Yeah, but the amount of work to make yours readable versus mine, it's like they're like, hey, we haven't taken Caveman 101, Lex. So
Sorry, we have to take your writing credit away because most of the effort was made by someone else at this point.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
that's definitely something we can. I think it's a good idea to write. It'd be hard to hit for everyone's environment, but just kind of a general. After it's built, here's how you can set it up to run it all from command line. Probably not the automation side where I'm not looking to build a portal for users, but the basics I could probably write something on that.
So are you waiting for me now?
I think they're waiting to figure out whose point it is.
I don't think
Yes.
either of us get a point.
Okay.
All right. Well, hang on. I was just adding another question.
okay.
I'm like, all right, here we go. Hey guys, is there a way to run a report or collection for users that have a specific VPN connection set up? I use the built-in VPN client in Windows, and in searching for answers, the only things I find are scanning over a VPN. The built-in connection is listed under the network connections in Windows. Danny G. Do you need to go back to the first one? Half of that?
All right. Is there a way to?
All right. There you go.
Thank you. Specific VPN connection. Let's see. First thing I always do when I start looking for this kind of stuff is NICs. Now, if there's a VPN, some VPNs create a NIC, don't they? Or at least a virtual NIC. Jordan, I'm looking at you, buddy, because you're the only one on the screen other than me.
I'm thinking this is my far off look of I don't have an answer. So I'm not real familiar with VPNs. So my guess is the best way to find out would be by IP, but I think our product returns the internal IP, not the VPN, which means if it is connected with VPN, you might be able to do like a PowerShell scanner that looks for a certain IP range that might tie into your VPN, and then you could run a report based off that PowerShell scanner. But that's purely hypothetical in my brain where I haven't tested any of it. I think it would be possible.
Now, I guess you could go after if there is a VPN executable that you know has to be on a machine. You can go after that, and then you at least know what, in the files.
Right. So he added in the chat, it adds an adapter, and he wants to see the computers that have it. So are the adapters not showing up on that
On the
NIC
network.
property space you just had?
That,
So
yeah.
if it's not showing up right there, then absolutely a PowerShell scanner that goes in and scans all of those adapters would be the way to go.
Would they if they are not physical adapters but virtual?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting question.
He says
Well,
it says no, they're not there. So yeah, I don't know the command line off the top of my head, but there's a lot of networking tools that we commonly do with command line that are in PowerShell now. Brock has a couple of blogs on those. So just a PowerShell scanner that scans the machine for all the network adapters, looking for the one, it should be able to find that, and then you can run a report or a collection based off the PowerShell scanner.
I'm going with what Jordan said.
Yeah. So
I tried-
semi-stumped. Now that we have the PowerShell scanner, we're not as stumped as we used to be. But
You could try get net adapter. That's what Colin J says.
It's always nice that I can just say, yeah, use PowerShell, and then not have examples.
Yeah.
You don't
When
get
I
points
say-
for those anymore.
When I say use PowerShell, I'm very confident I can do it in PowerShell, just not live on the webcast.
Take a drink.
Take a drink.
Please.
Skull.
All right. Moving on. Next up, dear Lex and Jordan, have you guys looked at the new Autodesk 2022 deployments? They changed everything to create a deployment, but is everything the same to push it out? Sincerely, Danny G.
Danny, I haven't looked at the 2022 deployments yet. From what I remember last when I was working on that, if you go through the customization tool in that, it does build a batch file that you can run and probably dissect to build it that way. If it's still building that batch file, yeah, I would imagine you could probably run it as a network, a network deployment using the batch file.
Yeah, if the process has changed quite a bit, we'll have to do some homework, and
So-
we may end up doing a new blog on this just in case.
Yeah, the process is changed, but it didn't change for all of their products. It's a gradual thing. So we wrote off on writing a new one until it was relevant for more of their products, because not everything that they have follows the new process. There's the old and new. But if enough of it has rolled over now, it might be worth looking into and maybe doing a webcast or a blog on the new process.
I think we probably should, yeah.
Point for whoever writes that blog.
Oh,
All
Brock
right.
gets a point.
I was going to say we're going to have to start including Brock in our point spread here. All right. Hey, guys, how can I patch Office 365 using PDQ Deploy? Sincerely, Alex A.
Office 365, are all those deployments or those patches, they're internet patches? I'm asking because, I haven't done any patching on 365 recently.
Are you asking if that's roll-up?
I don't know. I'm just like, let's just go look at our Office packages at this point. So I imagine since it's not in here, you could probably PowerShell kick off an update. Looking at you, Jordan, is that possible? Looks like Colby dropped a webcast link, or not a webcast, a video link for the updating.
Apparently, we've covered this before.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that neither me or Lex were involved in that one. So as far as updating Office 365, I'm not familiar with it. I'm not sure if it follows like the same Azure model where it is on their cloud service where it has its own command line in PowerShell. So I don't know enough to dive in without doing more research.
You're right. It's Brig and Josh.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, it does make sense.
I'm sure it did when they did it. Yeah. All right.
That's what you get for asking us.
You ready for the next question?
Please.
Is it possible to install/uninstall PFX digital certificates? Thanks. P.S. Can I have a mug, please? Federico A. I'll take that second part. We'll start sending swag out again very soon. We're moving into our new building, and most of that stuff is packed away. But within the next couple of weeks, we'll be back up and running.
Soon, TM.
Yes. Now you guys can get back to the first part of the question.
PFX digital certs. I'm unfamiliar with those, Jordan. Any
So-
ideas?
If it's in the same store as the certs in Windows, PowerShell, you can just load up the certification space, just like go into the C drive, you can go to cert:// and that will give you all the certs and you can do all kinds of stuff with them there. But if it's not in that store, I wouldn't be able to answer that one.
So that's a don't know.
Oh, and Colby put in an import PFX certificate, so apparently there is a command in PowerShell for PFX, so it must be different then.
But I think it does add it to the Windows certificate store.
If it is in the Windows certificate store, you should be able to just delete it with PowerShell then. Just point it to that path what's in there, and then I'm going to say delete certificate, but that's not going to be right. Remove dash certificate. Remove child item. Remove child item.
Mark as answered.
Delete star. There you go.
Well, at that point, it is a child item, right? Because you're in the store. So I'm going to say remove dash child item should be able to get it.
Yeah.
Remove item. So
remove
close.
item. You
So
know what?
close.
And Marcel already gave the point to Colby. I'm giving him double points for that one. So
Jordan would have just used, use PowerShell.
Well, I got to the almost the command.
You got to, off by one.
It has its own child.
All right, next question. Guys, here's something of a feature request. Would it be possible to add an option for a Windows toast notification when a deployment has completed? Would be beneficial for both the workstation receiving the toast. You guys are awesome as always. Thanks. Timothy M.
Can we do this without a feature request? First off, can we do a post-step PowerShell toast notification?
So there is a module for PowerShell by Josh King about handling and dealing with toast notifications. The module would have to be on everyone's device, but with the PowerShell scanner, if you follow the part with the import module, it should be able to find it is in the store for that. So I would recommend looking up Josh King and his module, and that should be able to get you started to get everything you need for that.
Would you be able to run that PowerShell on the console device, the device that's running the console? Pardon me.
So you'd be able to run the PowerShell on anything that has the module, and the module is in. It can just be imported. So as long as you're importing the module wherever you're running it, it should be able to run.
Should we do a blog intent?
Oh, that's what you're saying.
Yeah,
I can.
that's where I'm kind of leading it that way.
All right, then.
Because I don't know if you're asking for a feature request, I don't know when we'd be able to get to it. But if in the meantime we can come up with something fairly quickly before our next release, just as a blog topic.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to look into it. I know Andrew that works here is familiar with that one, so I'll hit him up and build something out so how we can track that.
Right on.
All right. We have a bunch of questions lined up, so let's jump into a speed round, shall we, guys? I moved my server, and the repository is still on the old machine, temp server on a workstation. What's the easiest way to relocate the repo to the new server? Alexander N.
So, Alexander, we have got a video on moving that you can watch. I don't know, Colby, can you pop that one up, dude? But what you're going to do is you're going to come into Options, Preferences, okay, and you're going to point your new repository to that new server. Once you do that, it's going to break all those links, and then you're going to go to where the install files were stored, copy those over, copy the entire, the folder structure and everything over to the new repository, and you should be good. Might take a minute for it to obviously recover. You get a bunch of warning signs. So let me just show you what those warning signs look like. So that one's been moved. So 7-zip here in a minute will come up with a warning sign saying I can't find the file because it doesn't exist anymore. So anywho,
Colby did come through with that link too.
Thank you, Colby.
Towards the end.
Another point for Colby. Yeah, Colby.
I think he's squarely in the lead.
Isn't he always? Hasn't he always been?
Yeah, true.
Why even keep score at this point?
I agree.
Ready to move?
Let's do
Move on. All right. Hey, guys, need to know what to do on computers that are remote and on VPN. And PDQ says they are connected with green light, but scan status shows Kerberos. The target account name is incorrect. The network path was not found and failed to resolve host name. Sincerely, Melvin O.
All right, check it out. I'm going to take over Colby's job of posting videos.
He's probably
You
already
come
got it in there.
Yeah, VPN.
No.
So what? It's
Yep.
game
it
on,
is.
Colby. Come on, come on.
He
No,
beat
he
ya.
he did a KV article, I think.
Anywho, the big thing is probably your scavenging is having an issue at that point. Wouldn't you agree, Jordan?
Sounds like it, yeah.
So there is 2 videos if you go search our YouTube channel for VPN and target count incorrect. That from Colby. Those things should help you out in getting that resolved. Again, a lot of times what happens is your VPN, you guys connect, they pick up an IP, they disconnect, the next person picks up that IP, but DNS hasn't refreshed in time. So, yeah.
If you're allowed to get very aggressive on scavenging, like more than just the normal scavenging, we have a PowerShell script that will go through and be as aggressive as you want it to be, but it's just one where you might want to make sure that's what you're looking for, because it will be very aggressive on the scavenging, and it might cause its own problems.
Like UFC aggressive, full contact.
Hey, Jordan,
Yep.
speed round.
Okay.
Guys, how do you manage multiple clients/businesses, different locations from a central location, providing services via VPN from your office? All locations should have custom repository definition. This is actually from Marcel, but I didn't have enough room to say Marcel, so M standing for Marcel.
How would I do that? Multiple clients, different locations, all VPN'd in. Boy, I can think of a couple of ways to go about it. None of them are real great. I mean, you could have a database for each of them and then swap database, put a string in and swap the database out for each. So you can work on, if I'm working on client A, pops in client A database, stops service, pops it in. I don't know, Jordan, your thoughts?
This is one that we attempted in prep for a webcast a while ago that we decided it just wasn't worth it, where we were working in logic to where it would update the repository based on location. And the issue we ran into was when packages update on one location, how do we get full mesh with PowerShell? And we came up with a couple other things where we're doing a SQL query to get there, but at the end we just decided that it's probably best not to have all of that in one database.
Yeah, it was difficult. A difficult attempt that we finally decided, we're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. But you may try the database thing and swapping databases per client if that's what you're doing.
Cool. Hey guys, having issues with laptops. Is there a way to only deploy packages when connected to a specific subnet? When they're in the building, they connect to main subnet. When they're remote, they connect to another. We were planning to ask them to leave laptops here once a week and check for heartbeats at night. Dave C.
So you want to deploy to certain subnets? All right, I'm pulling a blank, Jordan.
Well,
I know how to filter a subnet.
Is it possible to make a collection off of their IP address
that's a
based
good
on that subnet, and then if they're not a member of that collection, don't deploy?
Yeah, okay, so if you're going to do that, thank you, that's a good one. Let's say you're going to do computer IP address contains, you're going to want to do a version comparison. And the reason being is because there's, 10 dot or 172, 196.68, whatever. Use the version comparison, or I guess you could use contains, 172.16 dot and run it that way. Let's see. Probably have 30. Yeah, there you go. We can do contains. So it does evaluate that IP as a string. So that's one way to do it. And then you can deploy
if it's a
to
Class C or a B network, it would be straightforward like that. If it's something where it's not a direct, where it has like super netting, where there might be variations of that one, it might require a little bit more.
It might require some regular expressions.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true. And don't ask me to do that right now because it ain't gonna happen.
Because we're in a speed round, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. I
why
would
speed
do
round.
it, but it's a speed round. Okay.
Hey guys, would it be possible to add sorting folders in inventory? There are only the reports folders. Shannon H.
would it be possible? I mean, anything's possible. As
Sorting
For-
by what?
Yeah, I was
Alphabetical, date created?
there's a lot of, yeah. Probably, if it's an enhancement, we'd have to check into that. But yeah, I'm going with maybe. It's possible to add. We'll go with
I'm
maybe
not-
on that.
I'm confused by the question.
Yeah.
So if they're just looking for different folders where they can keep different packages in them, you can build. You can make a folder in Deploy with a new folder. But as far as how it's sourced, I don't know about that. If you're looking at just using those folders to store stuff, that's right there, right? Unless I'm misunderstanding what they're looking for.
Well, I
But
think
to
they were
sort
asking.
'em.
I think they were asking about inventory specifically.
Oh, inventory.
Inventory.
So I don't know. I don't know if they're talking about folders within the Explorer, like Windows, and they want to filter it that way. But sorry to cut you off, Kelly.
No, I was going to say, I think Colby is saying they want folders for collections.
Okay.
Oh, for
Oh,
collections.
for collections now. It looks like you can do a new folder for reports at this point. So you could do, I guess, a collection and then sub collections. So you could do your dynamic collection 1, right, and then your dynamic collection 2 as a sub of that one.
Yeah, so we kind of just use one collection to host the ones you want.
Yeah.
And so the collection's not actually going to do anything. It's just a title of.
I guess you can change the icon. I mean, there goes our speed round, right?
It went a long time ago.
Did it?
I'm going to blame Second Scotch.
Second scotch on that one. All right, so this is my new folder. And it looks like a folder with a pad in front of it. There you go.
And then
I
just
don't know if
move the
that's-
collections you want down there. Just make sure you don't have any collections that are drilled down based on the parent that you
Yeah,
put in
make
there.
sure you don't check, yep, that guy. So, all right.
Cool.
We'll take the question as read.
Yes. Does PDQ Deploy keep track of deployed packages from the command line? Greg Kinnear.
All right, so we did deploy 7-zip poorly to Bugs Bunny. There it is. Now, does it tag it any different because it came from the command line? No, but it did track the fact that it was done. And also, if we look in Bugs Bunny, we should be able to see, let's see what that ID number was, 26. Under deployments, 26. There it is. So it does track it. Just wonder if there's any detail in here that might say it came from the command line. Nope. There you go.
Hey guys, is there a way to scan a particular folder on someone's C drive and report the size in PDQ inventory? Frankie B.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm not
Here,
sure.
I'm
if
gonna
that
do
one is
a Jordan
already
answer.
A pre-built scanner. Yes.
Next
You
question.
do it with PowerShell. All right.
All right.
Score for me. All right.
I don't know if we have the ability or the means or time to show it.
There is a one
but is
get.
it-
Oh, good.
Do we have a KB or a webcast or a video that we've done on this before?
There's one in Get that pulls user profile size, so you can modify that to go point to the C drive.
Oh yeah, Colby just posted it. Is that what
Hey.
you're referencing?
No, I thought that on my own. Thank you,
All
Colby.
right.
You know, Colby, you need to change your display name to Lex.
I was just impressed that you. I was just impressed, Lex, that you knew anything about GitHub.
Shut up. I know plenty.
I know things. I know plenty of
stuff.
things.
I know stuff.
Lots of hubcaps.
All right. Continuing on with the air quotes speed round. 2 weeks ago, did I understand correctly that there is no way to differentiate a package that fails because of conditions from one that fails when attempting to install? Case, we have 1607 and 1809 LTSC. We have two update packages nested in one. Windows update package, but must set to continue on error. Josh C.
All right. There's a failed right there. Conditions. due to logged on user condition. There you go. So go ahead.
Like you said, the status will tell you if it failed based on the condition, but I'm not sure exactly what we're looking for past that one.
Let's go see. What number was that one? On Bugs Bunny, we should see the failed. Do we see failed attempts in here? BG info. There it is. So you can do a report on conditions not met. So there's places to look.
But as far as he's wanting it to continue if it's failed, I believe it's just kind of continue on failure
That's right,
either way
yeah.
or not. There's not a way to specify continue based on the error message that I know of.
And the other question, this failed and stopped, right? I mean, let's say it failed and continued, right? It's not going to report that error here. You'd have to look in the log in inventory here. If it failed, like say it's failed on step not run due to architecture condition, right? So that's you'd have to, I don't know, I could probably do it in SQL looking at the deploy database. I don't think there's anything, I don't know.
Yeah, so the error is going to show up there no matter what, but as far as if you want to continue on failure only for certain types of failures, we don't have a way to specify that. It's either continue on failure or stop on failure. I hope we're getting to the question on that one.
There's a couple of answers for you there.
Ready to move on?
Let's do that.
There seems
Okay.
to not be a way to signal that.
All right, I think we got like 5 more questions here. Can custom inventory fields be created in the server client mode? If so, do they have to be created at the server rather than one of the client consoles? Catherine A.
You know, I've never tried making one as a client, but I mean, they're all going to be stored on the server.
I think you can make it on the console, but it's still going to store on the server.
Yeah.
I think. I wish we had a setup so we can test that one.
You know, we could someday. But yeah.
Instead, we'll move on to the next.
Yeah.
But there we go. Now we're moving on.
All right, now we're moving on. Is there a limit to how many heartbeat deployments is reasonable for the system to be checking? Can the queue be overloaded? Alan L.
Can the queue be overloaded? We'll work backwards. Can the queue be overloaded? I think it's possible. It could be. Really, your heartbeat's determined by inventory under preferences networking, or network, excuse me. Okay, so if you have, let's say, 5,000, 6,000 or more machines, right? Ultimately, the thing that you're really worried about is respawning this heartbeat trigger before it finishes. Or the heartbeat, right? Now, the heartbeat trigger only matters when a machine goes from an offline to an online state. So I guess if you've got, let's say 1,000 machines that get turned on at the same time and they all come on, it could overload. But the nice thing about deploy is it's only going to deploy 8 at a pop or however you have set in performances. So from the deployment, I don't think you'll overload it. You could overload how often you do the heartbeat, though. And that was all under a minute, I think.
Well, it's important to remember the heartbeat's not necessarily going to kick off. I know it's speed round, but just the heartbeat's not going to kick off on a reboot.
No.
So, not necessarily. It basically has to check in as offline and then check in as online. So there's a good chance with 300 seconds set that it's going to reboot before it even recognizes it's offline. So based on your settings, you'd have to be very aggressive for it to overload, I think.
Yeah. What I said, only with more detail.
There you go. Dear Lex and Jordan, is there a way to force a reboot for computers powered on over X amount of days in PDQ? John S.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So the first thing you want to do is go build yourself a really cool dynamic collection called uptime greater than X. We'll say 14 days in this case. Okay. Uptime's located in the computer table. Greater than 14. We'll give that an OK. And I got 27 machines been running more than 14 days. Now, a couple of ways to go about this. One, you can schedule this reboot, or you can go to Tools and say Reboot. And if you hit that OK button, which I'm not going to do right now, they'll reboot. Or you can schedule a reboot in the evening. I will say this, right? This information right here is only as good as your last scan. So if you were going to build a package and run at night, I would say step 1 in your package, do a scan step, run the computer info scan to verify that the machines haven't been rebooted since then, and then run your reboot step. And only, well, let's just go show it. Since I'm causing all kinds of quickness here, right? There's our
This is the
scan
worst speed
step.
run ever. But at least we're all contributing.
We're all contributing. There's the computer info scan, right?
I did
And
my
then
part.
We're going to do the reboot step right next, but we're only going to run this reboot step on machines that are a member of uptime greater than 14. Now I didn't, oh, there we go. Here we go, uptime greater than 14. So that's the way I would do it. And then and do it, do it in the middle of the day with a message like, screw you, you didn't reboot your machine, so that they know you did it. Just kidding, but
So they know you care.
that you care. That's right. So,
And Daryl says exclude servers from this one.
well, then you go back here and you say exclude servers, right? Oh, here we go. Easy. Bing. There you go.
we are.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. And I did that all in under a minute if you count 10 seconds per second. Don't try and do the math.
Final 2 questions.
Speed is relative.
We're asking 2 questions at once.
But you have no idea how badly I wish I could do that. After deploying to a group of PCs, and I have a PC that fails, I would redeploy by right-clicking on that PC. In the past, the PC would be the only target to pull into the deploy screen. Now, the whole group is pulling in when only one computer is selected. Is this a bug or change by design? Thank you, Jay Franson.
Well, I think there's 2 options. One that redeploy failed and redeploy all, right?
So there's redeploy. This is going to fail again, I think. Redeploy. Right? And then if you did it from up here and you did a redeploy, it's going to redeploy it to all of them. Oh, nope, just Bugs Bunny in that case. But that's the only one in that one, right? There we go. If you did a redeploy up at this level, yeah, I think I'm going to, yeah, that'd kick them all off. So,
But I believe in the, right, I don't have control, but on the deployment details, if you scroll down, I think there's
deployment details. Okay.
to the right more, outside of that pane to the next pane over.
Outside.
I believe,
Simon
I believe
says,
yeah.
Okay, here goes.
I'm hovering over with my mouse. Can't you see it?
I'm using
All
the highlighter.
Am I in the right place, Jordan? Because I'm
You
not
are
following.
You are not. It's,
Okay, where am I going?
So there is
Oh.
a deployment details to the right of that window. Up a little bit. Up. Next one. Yeah, scroll down on there. In there, it has a list of deployment successes and failures, and you can hit redeploy on only the failures.
Hang on. Let me find a failure. Redeploy on the failures. You know, I hate driving when I don't know where I'm going. Oh, here we go.
Get down just a little bit. There you go. 2 failed. So if you hit redeploy from the 2 failed, it's only going to grab the failed ones.
Perfect.
What a sneaky, sneaky feature.
I
The
can't,
blind leading
I
the
never
can't
blind.
use,
I never knew that existed.
can't use my words to explain it, but I'm going to get louder and see if that helps.
Always. Just drink more and talk louder.
Drink more, talk louder. Get up on that mic.
Point for Jordan. Well done.
Come on, do I get any points for driving poorly?
We talked about this in the pre-show, Lex.
Yes, we
Oh.
did.
That's right. Okay.
All right, you ready for a final question?
I hope it's easy.
All right. Final question. Is there a way PDQ could fully enable a machine for TPM? Is there already a package developed from PDQ for that? Sincerely, Emil or Emil P.
Go ahead, Jordan.
Well, I need someone to tell me what TPM is. It's, I don't know if I've heard of it or not, but it's not clicking. PowerShell TPM. But I'm sorry, I don't know anything about it to weigh in on that. I apologize.
Yeah, what is TPM? Trusted platform. Okay.
I mean, lots of people put that in there.
Trusted platform module?
Yeah.
Doesn't look like we got a pre-built package that has the word trusted in it.
It's
a
for
security-
device encryption.
Yeah, security hardware device.
So as you can see, I'm learning from the chat as we go, so I don't have an answer to that one.
I do. You can do it with PowerShell. And I didn't read Jordan calling Jay. Tire pressure monitor. Thanks, Chad.
We had to end on this one.
My bad, guys. My bad.
Kelly, make up one that I can answer good.
How many is too many?
Well, I think it would be about this time we would say camera 2.
Oh,
All right.
all right. Hey, everybody. Sorry that was so painful.
Yeah, this one was not our finest hour. I think we had some good answers, but
I think we pointed people in a lot of decent directions, and definitely when you stumped us, we looked like idiots. So.
You threw some curveballs. Good job.
Nicely
however,
done.
I will be doing research into TPM now because I don't like hearing about things in PowerShell I've never heard of before, especially when it sounds like it's incredibly useful. So maybe a blog? We'll find out.
Thank you guys for watching. I'm Lex.
I'm Jordan.
PDQ.
Thank you for being a part of our webcast today. If you had questions that we were not able to get to today, feel free to reach out to our support forums. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.